And today we're taking a look at gluten-free corn flour tortilla recipe. The great thing about making corn flour tortillas is that they're not only gluten-free, you can feed a lot of people or make a snack right away with little ingredients, easy to make, and in a matter of no time. With this recipe, we can do 24 small tortillas or about 16 large tortillas. And these are the ingredients that we're going to use today. We have 1 spoon of salt, 1 spoon of baking soda, 3 cups of instant corn flour. You can also find it in some stores as corn flour tortilla mix or tortilla flour. We also have another video where we make regular flour tortillas or wrap. If you're interested on that video, we're going to leave a link in the description. We're also going to use 2 to 2.5 cups of warm water, and once you feel it's warm, that's good enough. About 100 degrees Fahrenheit should be fine. So the first thing that we're going to do, we're going to add the salt and the baking soda to the flour, and we're going to mix well all around. And now that we mix well, now comes the important part. We want to add the water in parts. And this is basically what's going to determine how much water would you need. And if you notice you need more water and it's only a small amount, you don't have to warm it to add it. So let's go ahead and add the water in 3 parts. And we're going to mix it well all around until we get a pasty consistency. What the warm water is going to do, it's going to cook the corn flour until we put it on the stove and give it that final touch. And remember, we add the water in parts because we don't want the dough to be too wet and sticky. If you need to add more flour, you can always go ahead and do that. So once we have the dough looking like dry mashed potatoes, you're done. We can go ahead now and shape the dough to a ball form, and that's going to help the dough cook. And now we want to go ahead and let it rest until it cools down. Now that the dough has cooled, we're going to take pieces of the dough and roll it to a tube form and try to cut it into even shapes. It does not have to be perfect because you're beautiful in the inside, way deep in the inside, but you are. And with your hand, you can take each piece and make it to a ball shape. You can either do this with both hands or using your palm and the table in a circular motion. You will also achieve the same shape. It does not have to be perfect. Just like in Rocky, if they can change, we can all change. So change is good. And remember, there's no better measurement than eyeballing it. And now let's get to the arts and craft part of the video. Now we want to get a ziplock bag. The larger the better, and we want to cut it in 3 sides so we could get sort of an open book look to it. In all my testing, I've noticed that ziplock bags do work the best. And now that you made mama proud, we can choose to oil the bag or not, depending on how sticky your dough is. And trust me, you will notice after the first one. So now we're going to take our ball shape and place it on the middle, close the bag, and then using a pan which is flat on the bottom, or a plate that's flat, or anything that's flat except a tire, we're going to go ahead and press it down and add a little circular motion at the end, and you should get this round nice shape. And now comes the easy part, or as I call it, the tricky part. And remember, when removing the flour tortilla from the Ziploc bag, you want to do this in a slow motion, so you won't have any pieces left on the Ziploc bag. But if you have a flour tortilla presser like the one I have here, the job is going to be a lot easier. If you're interested in this particular one, I'm going to leave a link in the description. We're basically going to do the same steps with the Ziploc bag, but instead of using the pan, we're going to use the press. If it messes up, you could just turn it to a ball again and repeat the process. If you notice it's getting too sticky to the Ziploc bag, you can oil the Ziploc bag. And now that we've done one and we got the hang of it, let's go ahead and turn on the pan or the griddle where we're going to finish the tortillas off. And we want to have the pan or griddle at a medium high heat. And once we notice the griddle or the pan is hot, Now we're ready to start adding the tortillas. We want to add a thin coat of oil to the pan or griddle. It could also be sprayed on if you have. And what you want to do is give it around 30 seconds on each side and flip them around 2 to 3 times. And once you see a little color on them, they're done. Now you could go ahead and place them in a towel so they can finish off cooking, and also help them retain the moisture so they can be nice and soft for the time of use. And remember, in the beginning, you can start off by doing 1, 2, or 3 at a time. And as you get better, you can go ahead and add more as you want. Once you cook all the tortillas and you let them rest on the towel, you only have to wait until they cool off to be able to use them. You can also save them in a ziplock bag for another time. You would only have to reheat them before you use them. And you, being the king or queen of your castle, you can fill them with whatever you want. In our case, we did some ground turkey, carrots, cabbage, onions, and red and yellow peppers. And don't forget, if you like the video, give us a thumbs up. That really helps. If you have any questions, place them in the comment section below. Don't forget to subscribe. Follow us on social media. Thank you for watching. And here's a link to our latest video.